welcome back to my channel. Thank you for subscribing and watching and liking and all of that. I am really grateful. I mean, I know there's only 25 subscribers, but I am so grateful for those 25 people that subscribed, and I just wanted to say thank you. Today's gonna be more of like a serious, like, get to know me kind of, but I'm just gonna tell you like my backstory on my life. I don't know where to start out. Okay, so at the age of 9 years old, my grandmother, the rock of my family, I mean, she held my whole family together like glue. She passed away October 15th of 2010. And I'd say that took a toll on me. That was the first time I ever really like felt depressed. Yeah, so, and everyone took it really hard. I mean, especially my grandfather. They've been together for like 40 something years. I mean, they were what you call like deeply in love. I mean, she was our whole family's everything. Like, she was just Nan. That's what we called her, was Nan, Nano, all that. And then shortly after that, me and my sister were taken out of our mother's house, and we moved in with our dad and our stepmother. Right then, I mean, I guess it was an okay thing for a 10-year-old Callie and a 12-year-old my sister to live in a house with two parents for the first time in a while. But I quickly like discarded that idea because it wasn't good for me, because my stepmother, she was an evil stepmother. I've been big all my life, and I can remember like we were having like a hamburger helper one night, and she rationed my food. She gave me like one scoop and was like, okay. And then when I went back for another scoop, she wouldn't let me. And that night, I waited and waited until she went to bed, and I snuck into the kitchen and I went to eat some more. And I remember her coming in there, and I don't exactly remember like what she told me, but I remember her calling me a lard ass. Excuse my language, but you do not call your 10-year-old stepdaughter a lard ass, even if she is, like, you rationed my food. Of course I was gonna go and try and get more food. I was hungry. And so after that, it was really, really difficult for me and her to get along. I mean, she tried to act like she liked me in front of my dad, but she didn't. She really did show a liking to my sister, until my sister actually started sticking up for me. And so they just clashed. And then my stepbrother, or ex-stepbrother, got out of prison. So when he moved into our house, it got 10 times worse. I mean, 10 times worse. And then finally, my stepmother and my dad got a divorce. And my dad around that time was about 69 years old. And my mother was about 39 years old. When they got divorced, me and Whitney still lived with my dad, but we didn't get the big house. We were stuck in a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom house, with all three of us and our dog. We were all stuck in that one little house. And I mean, I guess you can say that my dad was off, but I didn't really like notice it, you know. And then like I continued to just like live and be happy, because I'm a daddy's girl. I mean, I loved living with my dad. Sometimes we are so much alike, we butt heads. But if y'all see me looking out there, I'm looking at my dog. She's I think she's chewing on a water bottle. Yeah. But, you know, we just butted heads a lot. And then I remember we sold that place out there, which my dad had for a really long time. That was like our place. And we moved into a rent house in town, of the town I live in. We moved into a real small rent house, but it was 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. And, you know, we continued living with him. And then finally, me and my sister, we moved in with my grandfather, who had been living by himself since my grandmother passed away. And we'd go see my dad every weekend. Every weekend. And we didn't know that he was slowly changing. We didn't notice like the things that you're supposed to notice as a daughter. And his health was getting worse. I mean, his health kept getting worse, but the main part is that he kept forgetting things, and like he would forget to take his medicine. He would forget and then remember and then take too many, and it was just a struggle for him. And he tried to hide it. Like, he really tried to hide it from me and Whitney. And Whitney kind of stopped going to see him as much, but I would always go over there. I would always be with him every chance I could on the weekends, you know. And about a year into him like slowly forgetting things, people started to take a notice. And he went to the doctor, and they told him that he had dementia, which is a case in which a person like is very forgetful of things. It's like memory loss. And they moved him to a nursing home that is about 30 minutes away, which is not bad at all. I mean, I still go and see him about once or twice a week. I mean, he was not that bad in the nursing home. He seemed happy. But there was those days that he would just look at me and say, like, I can't do this no more. Like, I don't belong here. I just want to go home. And me being the person I am, that really hurt because I couldn't take him home. And it slowly got worse. I mean, it got worse and worse until they diagnosed him with Alzheimer's. And my dad was 71 years old when he got Alzheimer's. And he actually, the little shit he is, he tried to escape and do all this stuff. And so they put him in a lockdown unit in the nursing home, like about 30 minutes away from my house. Well, I'd say about a year after my dad was put in the nursing home, I missed him so much. I couldn't think about anything else. All I could think about was my dad and worrying. And I was like, well, what if, you know, like, I can't live with myself if my dad passes away? Which is still a thought I have daily. Yeah. Then my freshman year, I was diagnosed with depression. And I, like, forgot eating. Like, my 8th grade year, my freshman year, I also, as well, had an eating disorder. I would eat and eat and eat and then make myself throw up. And so that, on top of depression, it just didn't work out. And so my freshman year, I moved schools just for half a semester. I guess you could say I was kind of really happy in that school, and then I tore my meniscus, and so we moved back to my town so it'd be easier to like drive back and forth. Well, we moved back to my school. I had lived in the same place. And so my sophomore year was by far, so far, the worst year of my life, which was last year. Last year, about this time, I was in a mental health care facility. I tried to kill myself. I was just in a really rough place. And I remember going to that place and hearing all these people's stories and knowing that I wasn't alone. Like, there's people out there struggling with the same things I struggle about, and the same things that, I mean, no one's dad had Alzheimer's or anything, but people still have rough lives. And then I realized, like, you're being so selfish, Callie, you need to quit. And I got better, but then I started having panic attacks. Like, I would just sit there and think, and I would be like, well, you're not thinking about what you're supposed to be thinking about. You're supposed to be thinking about your dad. And so then I would start panicking and be like, where's dad? I haven't talked to dad. Da 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 da. And I would get panic attacks. It wasn't that easy dealing with this. And then over the summer, I would say I pretty much sobered up with that. Still had very depressed thoughts, but I try to push those in the back of my mind now and worry about tomorrow. I mean, like, you know, because there always is in the back of my head about, like, what if your dad passes away? Like, what if daddy passes away, you know? I myself, if my dad passes away, I think I would be a little bit happy for him, because he wouldn't have to, you know, he wouldn't have to suffer no more. I mean, you should see the look in his eyes, the look in my father's eyes when I go in there to visit him and he forgets my name. He wants to cry, but he doesn't cry. But yeah, so that's a recap of my life. I left out a couple of details, but that's fine because those details were not important. But once again, thank you all for sitting here and listening to my life and listening to my videos and just being very supportive, because a lot of you are so supportive, and it makes me so happy to know that I can just get on YouTube or just sit in front of my camera and talk. Just talk about life and everything. But yeah, that was like a get to know me. It was kind of gloomy, but I promise there's more positivity coming in future videos. I just wanted y'all to know that that is my life. That's my life. Alright, well, thank y'all so much for watching. It means the world. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And yeah. Okay, bye.